everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrea Silvestro, and here we are with another reaction video, singer, musician reaction video to Ren, actually. Thank you so much to everyone who commented such nice things and was so kind to me and welcoming in the Ren community. I'm super excited to continue my Ren journey. Also, feel free to check out all my music if you want as well, so you can see like where I'm coming from and who you're watching. But first, this video is actually brought to you by Comica. They were kind enough to send me the 80Caster C1K1 podcast and audio kit, and it comes with the interface and the mic. And just a brief little lesson if you guys want to know anything about audio equipment, a lot of the times when we have mics, we can't just directly plug them into computers. We have to have an interface in between that allows us to communicate with our computer, essentially. So I have my mic plugged into here, and then it goes directly into my computer. And this has so many cool features I can talk about right now, but also at the very end I'm going to give a little bit more information, more in depth. First off, it's a super mini and portable interface. This is so thin, it's so easy to carry around. There are Bluetooth capabilities. Additionally, you have 2 mic inputs as well as a lot of other inputs, and they also provide all the cables for you, so that's really awesome. And then we have all these effects up here, EQ, reverb, and the just voice effect. We also have these other buttons that do various things, and these also can trigger different sounds. So you can also program them to trigger sounds, and they are cool because they light up. I was really impressed by this because the mic sounded really good, and then this just felt like such a new modern take on an interface, like very thin, very compact, and I think that's what's so unique about it. But this is really optimal if you're looking into recording video or going into podcasts, because you can have these 2 mics and you could have 2 people on. But their website provides a lot more information, so if you want to go learn more about this, feel free to use the link in my description, and thank you again to them for sending this. And now let's get on with the video. So let's get on with the video right now. I'm watching Chalk Outlines live. Now I'm getting jump scared. The atmospheric sound is already very unsettling. I feel there's something so unsettling about just the sound of things existing, especially in a dark place like this. I feel on edge already. Or like kind of, I guess we'll see. I don't know where this is, but it's definitely setting the tone so far. Jeez. Oh, guitar. Fun fact, this is actually a Bluetooth device right here. It's plugged into the guitar, and then the other end is plugged into the amp, so then you don't need that long cable, because in order to have the guitar connected to the amp, you need a cable. But this way, you don't need a cable, you just need that Bluetooth device. It's now kind of more common. So yeah, that's just random, but we'll continue.
Still here in this bed that I crawled in. I hope that I'm someone else in the morning. So take this one, wash it down and you'll be fine. Walk around in a floating chalk outline.
I want to pause and talk a little bit about this. First off, this is a very different feel than the last video I watched, and I'm really glad you guys recommended this because I love vocals, and I think he has such a unique voice because his voice is really, this whole section is really stunningly beautiful instead of kind of the last High Ren, right? I believe that was the song. It was like a little more jarring. It was a little bit more dissonant, but this is very melodic and very beautiful. And I really love his chord choicings, but his voice is very like I want to listen to it again, but he has like this kind of vibrato slash shakiness, and then paired with the reverb, the natural reverb in the room right now, it's just really beautiful. And like the fact that this is a big open space means that there is that natural reverb, which just means that it sounds more echoey because you're singing in like a room that has a lot of open space. But we'll continue.
Walk around in the floating chalk outline.
Like even the way he kind of ends his notes is like, you'll hear it.
Walk around in
Walk around. It's kind of like a physical it's a physical vibrato, like a very physical vibrato. We'll continue. I just have noticed that's like part of his style. I really like his voice though. He's actually a really good singer. This is all live too. I'm really impressed.
floating chalk outline.
Very
So it goes, let it be. In the gallows, balanced on my toes so I can breathe. But little by little, bit by bit, I push it back down with a new habit. If not for long, just for a while.
Oh, I loved that note.
I'll bury myself with a great big smile. Oh my, oh my. We trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Oh my, oh my. Erase ourselves in these chalk outlines.
Okay, I know that this is gonna continue on. That was so good. That man has soul in his voice. I love it. I loved that whole section. It was very soulful. It was very raw and real, but without being super jarring in sound. It was just oh my gosh. It felt very genuine, it felt like he was having a real moment, emotional connection with this song. And I think that's one thing that you guys love so much about him is he's really laying it all on the line with his heart and soul when he performs these songs and when he writes them especially. This is kind of talking about like anxiety, like having to continue with a big smile. Like I guess we'll continue and keep on listening to the lyrics. It's hard to focus on one element because there's just so many elements of this that I really am enjoying, like the vocals as well as the lyrics. So it's a lot for me to take in all at once right now. And the guitar part, he's a really good guitar player. I believe he was in a band as well, or he still is. So he is a guitar player by trade, but he's a really great vocalist. Like there's just something, he hits these notes and it doesn't sound like super pure, but it's like always on. He's like always on, directly on key. But there's just something so, like his tone is just so raw. I don't know how to explain. I want to kind of go back and like listen to it a little bit more and see if I can kind of get the words to explain what I'm hearing. But there's just something so emotional about the way that he's singing that really is hitting my soul right now. It's like speaking to me right now. And we're only halfway through. There's just something so good about this whole section. It's so soulful. It's so beautiful. I'm ready to go back and listen to part of it. Okay, let's do that.
Oh my, oh my. We trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Oh my, oh my. Erase ourselves in these chalk outlines.
And even when he goes into like, oh my, then he kind of goes back down. It's such a good use of dynamics is when you hit these notes and then you kind of bring it back down to a softer place. Then he goes back to that, oh my. I don't really know if I can felt that right now. I did, but it's okay. But essentially all that to say is that dynamics really add so much to his song. And even with that section, we saw that he had those higher dynamics and he kind of brought it back to like a really gentle and delicate place. And that also adds to like the emotional journey because we're seeing like that raw emotion that's causing him to hit these higher notes. But we also see like that delicate version of Ren. And I love both. Like I really love a singer that can do both. And I also really liked his belting. It was really tasteful. It was really good. We'll continue. I know that I've harped on this a little bit too long, but I really liked that section. Like, I really like his singing.
Sertraline and a sip of serotonin. Don't cry, 'cause there's a pill for everything. Take this one, wash it down and you'll be fine. The feeling goes and you draw a chalk outline.
I guess what I'm getting from the lyrics is we're talking about pills and how they're used to just kind of cover mental illness or just kind of help people feel better without really not always, looking at the root of the problem and just kind of assuming that drugs will always be the way to fix someone, to make them feel better, but that's not always the case. So I guess this back and forth of trying to feel better but not knowing how, and then having these drugs thrown in your face. I feel we see that a lot, honestly, with mental illness and just people who struggle in general. Like, I feel drugs are always one of the first things that they're thrown. And it doesn't work for everyone, but it does work for some people. It's just such a delicate balance because there's not always one right answer. One solution doesn't work for everyone, but yeah, it's hard. It breaks my heart, kind of thing. Anyways, we'll continue. I feel she added something to the song. I honestly would not even mind just having Ren fully because I really like his voice. She has like the very classic soft but powerful female vocal voice, so I understand why they had her here. And it also seems like she's very emotionally connecting with her hand gestures, etc. Not etc. etc. Also, how are they audio recording this? Just out of curiosity, because we even heard the sound of her touching her earring, which obviously shows that it's live. And I did not believe that because it says live. I assume it's live, but that definitely even proves it even more that literally was a live. It literally was live because something slight like that was even heard on audio. Okay, continuing. So it goes, let it be. In the gallows, I'm balanced on my toes so I can breathe. But little by little, bit by bit, I push it back down with a new habit. If not for long, just for a while, I'll bury myself with a great big smile. Oh my, oh my, we trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Oh my, oh my, erase ourselves. Okay, so that was a full moment. I'm honestly, that was good. But I'm honestly not always the biggest duet person. I'm not trying to get hated on right now. But I think that was actually pretty tasteful because their voices blended pretty well. I'm like just kind of picky when it comes to duets because sometimes it can feel a little bit cringy. Is that rude of me to say? I feel this, it felt like I was seeing two people emotionally connect on the same song, and it kind of shows how this is a universal issue, and it's something that a lot of people can't understand. And especially with her, she's just delivering so much emotion throughout this whole time, and their voices blended really well, and they kind of all both have like a raspy tone a little bit, and they both have a lot of power. So it's interesting that the power didn't overpower each other, because sometimes when you have two powerhouses just going in on a song, it can be a lot and it can get a little too much, in my personal opinion. But I think that the reason why it worked so well is because her register is a little bit higher, so it kind of, the notes blended together very well, and she kind of stayed on top of the whole mix. But also his voice really holds its own. It's not just like the notes were there. He also has that really unique tone, and I feel because they have such different tones but they're kind of similar in a certain way, it works. I don't know if that made sense to anyone out there, but It's just kind of my like opinion of what we just listened to. But it just kind of seems like they both have the same overall connection and intention when singing this song. And then because of their different tonalities, it works. And then also because of the different ranges, it works because you're able to select notes that do intertwine and sound good together. But yes, that was like a kind of an intense duet though, if I'm being honest. Like it felt like two people unleashing their emotional baggage and trauma onto each other. But it's kind of what music is, right? Just like release. It's like a release. But that just felt like a very big moment. And there's still a minute and 30 seconds. So I'm curious to see where this goes because that was kind of like a big moment. They're probably going to bring it back down to that delicate, soft moment, which we will hear is due to dynamics, and dynamics are a really important part of creating a song that actually has a depth. So continuing.
Such a perfect day, take it just in case, take it just in case. I'm scared of being okay, cause all things change, all things change. It's such a perfect day, it's a beautiful shade, it's a beautiful shade. I'm scared of being okay, cause all things change.
In that part, I feel like his voice was like the root of that whole section. She was kind of like floating on top in her falsetto. I just really think that his voice grounds the song a lot, and I really love it. Just feels very full, very like controlled, developed. I really like his voice. I'm glad that you guys recommended this because I feel I didn't get to hear him sing that much. I heard him more rap, and rap's not really always my favorite, but I love a good vocalist. And he's definitely speaking to me right now because I honestly really like his voice. And this is no shade to Chincilla. I just really think I really like his tone. I love all of it. And I feel like there's so much soul in that voice. Do you know what I'm saying? But Chinchilla has like this really beautiful like upper register as well. Like she's a powerhouse. She has like her facial expressions and her gestures just show so much emotion to the point where it definitely, like, as the listener, I really believe what she's saying, and I think that's important always, especially with this kind of topic. Like you want sincerity, you know? And this section lyrically I feel really stood out to me in the sense of once you're finally feeling good, like still kind of that fear of always slipping back into not being good. It's kind of always that one. I feel like I kind of struggle with this a little bit. Obviously not to this level. I'm not trying to compare my situation, but I feel when we're experiencing so many highs, we're always kind of worried about what's to come because eventually it can't remain that good. Something's always going to have to happen. And I feel that fear is definitely something really real. And I really connected with this part of the song, especially. So we'll continue, but that's kind of like one of the struggles, right? It's just always being worried about it going back to how it was. And I feel like a lot of people can relate in many aspects of life to that sentiment.
But little by little, bit by bit, I'll push it back down with a new habit. If not for long, just for a while, I'll bury myself with a great big smile. Oh my, oh my, we trace ourselves in these chalk outlines. Oh my, oh my, erase ourselves in these chalk outlines.
Okay. Love the flicked out lights. I feel that also a theme that Ren just kind of uses in his visuals a lot is like light and dark. We saw that with High Ren where the light kept flickering when it was more of his dark side and well, I don't know, his self-sabotage dark side. We saw the lights flickering in between him switching between both. And even there was like a section where we had the lights flicker, but I don't really know what that was about. This definitely is a completely different song, completely different energy than the last one. Also, what was really interesting is the guitar, he actually stopped playing guitar at a certain point, and it didn't feel empty, the track. It was just because I feel this is a very stripped down song, but at the same time, there's so much intensity and power and suspense built through two vocalists and one guitar. That's kind of pretty minimal in its nature. And I'm surprised that he's able to build, I think I mentioned this in my first video, like he's able to build so much tension and depth to a track that lacks a lot of instruments, because that's really difficult to do, and for something to sound so well developed with such minimal instrumentation. But I think something that also adds a lot to that in this song is just kind of the sound of the room and the sound of the atmosphere. And I think that's something that's probably overlooked. But even when we had him walk in with the chair, like that, the sound of just the silence and the really deafening sound of him opening the chair, I think made it a little bit more chilling. But at the same time, I feel the overall sound of the room adds to the instrumentation as well. I don't know if you guys kind of got the same feeling, but I feel if he were to have recorded this just in a normal room, even if it had the same level of reverb, there's just something visually that this setting does to a listener, and I think it also comes across in the audio. I don't know if that is very nitpicky or not, or very detail oriented or not. It's just something that I personally felt, and I think I'm seeing a common theme with the settings that he's been filming all these videos at, and I think that it's a good idea for the topic because I think it adds to just overall the sound and the visuals. That was a really long-winded way of saying that the atmosphere adds to the song, but I really love his voice. I will not lie to you guys. He just has really great control, but he also has like a very beautiful tone. But it's also he's able to deliver such emotion because of just the rawness of his voice. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just something more that I feel. I don't know. You guys can probably explain it better because you guys have been listening to him for longer, but it's kind of my thoughts overall. I think it's a really good I think it's really cool that it's also all live. I think that's really special because most of the times we don't see that. And I think that does, especially as a musician, I have a lot of respect for a full live video like this. Lyrically, I feel this song is kind of about just, wanting to feel better. But then once you reach that point, being afraid of returning back to your previous state. But also this is very heavily related to taking pills and drugs. So for your struggles. So that was kind of the theme I'm getting from this song. Feel free to let me know what other things I missed. I was trying to take in all of it at the same time, but it's a lot, But yeah, I would love to listen to more Ren. Feel free to let me know what I should watch. But also I will discuss a little bit more about the interface that I've been using this whole time. And we'll learn a little bit more about gear, because that's what we're here for, right? Educational purposes. So if you stayed till the end of the video, it means that you wanted to learn a little bit more about audio equipment in general. So I'm going to walk you through a few different features that you can learn about from this piece of gear. Essentially, at the very bottom, we have these 4 buttons that have different capabilities. So we have the denoiser, which I do have on right now, actually. And it's supposed to eliminate any background noise. It takes that steady frequency and just lowers it, and also can get rid of it. Then we have duck, which means when you're playing audio through the Bluetooth capabilities, if you click duck, then it'll have it so that when you are talking over the Bluetooth, it will naturally make the Bluetooth quieter. And then we have the mute, which makes it so that it literally mutes. You could not hear me right now, right? I feel this is a really easy piece of gear to use because we have the inputs here. It just handles the volume, and then they also have phantom power. And then we have the aux. This controls the Bluetooth volume. This controls the headphone volume and the output volume. And then we have these sounds here that you could program, as well as the 4 little effects that we talked about right here. But as well as the EQs, the reverb, and the effects, you literally just click it and click
through. Changes.
full. And additionally, as I mentioned, there's a lot of different cables. Their cables are going to be on their website as well. And then they have the headphone jacks as well. So there's one on each side. So it's really interesting and crazy how so much is able to fit on this little piece of gear. But just kind of wanted to go through a little bit more with you what everything means, and what all the buttons stand for. So you guys can learn a little bit more about gear and kind of understand a little bit more behind the scenes. So feel free to check out the link in my description if you're interested in the 6-input, 4-output audio kit. And also the mic. Let me know what you guys think of how it sounds. I think it sounds pretty good. Thank you so much to Comica for sending me this, and I really hope you guys learned a little bit about audio equipment today. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm so sorry if my face kept also getting like unfocused and focused again. But I really appreciate you guys being here with me. Let me know what you thought about my opinions. If I missed anything, I probably missed a lot, but I was just trying to take it in and just be my genuine self and give you my genuine thoughts throughout, even if it's super random and descriptive or very small, focusing on very small and not very relevant details. But I still had fun listening to it, so feel free to subscribe for more. Let me know what other Ren I should react to, and I will see you guys in the next video. Feel free to also check out this in the link description and my music, I'll link below as well. Bye!